Mikel Lamaro couldn't do it, Rob Reed couldn't do it, Paul Malocas couldn't do it, Tom Ward couldn't do it, and more importantly, Lando Norris, a driver who does this in real life, he couldn't do it. This is the 2K Cup. The Formula Renaults this time. We're back again here at Phillip Island. Qualifying was done yesterday. The race is in a couple of minutes. Jake Sperry and Cam Walsh in the commentary box, and we will see you after these brief messages. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to the, not the Skip Barber, but the Formula Renault 2K Cup. This is round number 1 here at Phillip Island. Jake Sperry in the commentary box here with Cam Walsh here on iRacing Live, brought to you by RaceSpot TV. And this is the dawn of the Formula Renault era. And this is the chance for all these drivers to impress. We've just named a couple of names who missed the top split here. Practice is going to be over in a couple of minutes. Cam, you have to look at these drivers, and the best of the best might be here in this field. They're only split first to 50th by 6 tenths of a second. That's only 0.8 of a mile an hour in average lap time. That's just how ferocious the competition is tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And hello, Jake. Hello, Hugo. And, well, it's simply an eye blink between the entirety of the field, and you can't go wrong with that when you've got such a car as this. Yes, these Skip Barber cars, they seem to have grown some wings and grown some muster. And now, well, they're in a much, much bigger chassis, these Formula Renault cars. So it's going to give us a great show. It's going to prove just who is absolutely the top of the top. There are 3 different races going on, and we get to show you the top one with the absolute crop of the drivers for round number 1.
Oh yes, certainly. And you look at some of these drivers, the likes of Wyatt Gooden here, the likes of Cam Stark, who have already shown their faces tonight in the official race that we showed just a couple of hours ago. And you look at them, some people having bad races, some people having amazing races, and some people looking out to prove a point tonight. It's going to be absolutely anyone's. And well, Cam, this is a really difficult challenge for these brand new cars. You've got to think about it. The slipstream's different. It's a little bit like a Star Mazda, but it is completely fundamentally different. And the challenge is completely new, especially around 2.76 miles and 12 turns of Phillip Island.
Yes, absolutely. Different aerodynamics, different suspension pretty much altogether. It's a 4-cylinder, but it's got a 7-speed sequential instead of, or a 7-speed paddle instead of a sequential shifter that you normally see on a Star Mazda. So it's going to be a very interesting show, much more current open wheel formula platform, and it is going to be a good show, I have to say. And Jake, well, Phillip Island is it's got a way of starting off open wheel races, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But right now, we are going to run you through your first grid then of this Formula Renault 2K Cup. And it's Freak Showthorst who puts his car on pole position ahead of Wyatt Gooden there in second. Cam Stark, the winner of last race that we've seen here on RaceSpot TV. He lines up on the second row with Simon Povey. Mark Jarvis for Carbon Racing on row 3. He'll be joined by Martin van Loosenord with Argent de Freighter at 7th. Riley Bresman 8th. Stefan Zeitwager. He'll be joined by Mr. 2K Cup Phillip Bear. And we're going to cycle through the rest of your grid now. And there are a lot of names here, a lot of quick names. Justin Brunner, Christian Takash, Michael Mittner, David Jarvis, the likes of which who are all going to play a factor here today. We're just waiting now for every car to be gridded up. Of course, this is, at the moment, a 47-car grid here waiting to get ready for the race. Just a couple of cars we're waiting for right now, and of course the advantage will be on those who are gridded up in an even place because they have the better track, they have the racing line into turn number 1. And they are underway here for the first time, and it seems that we've had a little bit of a problem with one of the drivers, that being Vladimir Zeraskovsky there as they run themselves into turn number 1. It's Wyatt Gooden. Possibly no, it's Freak Showforce who's had a great start, but Wyatt Gooden there in third is going to try and do everything that he can. He's lost a position to Cam Stark off the line. Are we all clean into turn number 1? Well, the answer's no, because we got a 5 or 6 car pileup in the middle of the field. Javier Martinez and they're all going to be fighting themselves around. It's gone horribly wrong at the back of the field. Cam, just what exactly has just gone on there?
Well, it just seems, I think what we normally see here in tracks that start with a right-hander and go immediately into a left-hander. The field started circling around here. I think, well, it was just a couple of cars losing traction. I'm trying to find out just who it was. There are so many cars to choose from here. I'm not necessarily sure who is the one that lost it, as I'm sure we're seeing a replay right now, but it was actually about 25, 26 in through the field, I think, where this incident started.
Oh yes, well it's been a fantastic start at the front and we've just had a couple of incidents. It is a 47-car field, everyone's got to be careful, but right now Showthorst is out and away and that gap looks huge already from the number 110 machine there for Freak Showthorst. Gooden second, Cam Stark third, Van Loosenhoord fourth, Povey fifth, Jarvis sixth at the moment. But right now, everything is just going to come down to this front straightaway. Of course, one mandatory pit stop required here in this series. We're going to be racing for 36 laps of the circuit. And, well, everything has just got to calm down a little bit. And there is a battle going on here into turn number 1. That looks like Cam Stark going through on Wyatt Gooden. But Gooden trying to come back. Not going to happen, Cam, because these guys are really scrapping it out right now in the fight for the final 2 places on the podium.
Oh, absolutely. A pair of black stripes going at it. That 24 car on the 18 Radicals car. They're watching the rear end of Freak Showhorst. He's falling away as they're going to go side by side here in through one of the many corners here at Phillip Island. It's a 12-corner track, as we're pretty familiar with here, I think, in the 2K series. But Cam Stark, he managed to get the position as somebody goes off in the back. That was Simon Povey. I think he dropped a couple of rears as he was trying to go around Martin Van Loosenhoord. But ultimately, though, Wyatt Gooden, well, he sits in the back there, and he's going to go, all right, well, let's sit here. We've got a 30-lap race on our hands, and we'll go from there. Cam Stark, though, well, he's got the position. He started in third. He's now up to second. And as it's right now, it is a 7-position breakaway from the rest of the field.
We're just going to run through for you then a replay of the start of the race for you. And it just seemed that everyone got a good start off the line. Just looking back down the field at the likes of, say, Hugo Preto for you as he heads himself down in through turn number 1. Everything seems fine for the moment, but it's when they came to turn 2 where all the drama started. And there we go, there we see it. The pilot came along with, I believe, Thibaut Subriand there getting a little bit involved in that one, and that did not end up well because it was the 91 in the end of Matthew Daniels slowing up which caused the incident right then. But right now you have to say we do have these battles going up down the field and we can't keep track of all of it. So up at the top of your screen you'll see Racebot TV /timing there. That's where you will find everyone going where you want to see them, and also you will also find that we will run a ticker up on the top of your screen to see where everyone is fighting themselves through. But right now, 3-car train here, and it is Martin Van Loosenhoord, Riley Preston there in the 500 machine, and Simon Povey in the battle for 4th position at the moment. And you can see just how much they want it right now up and down your field, Cam.
Yes, absolutely. Simon Povey there in that Panda Motorsports Renault. And I have to say, I'm already a big fan of that, as a big fan of the name. But Evolution Racing Australia is not that far behind. Riley Preston, and then, of course, Martin Van Loosnoord. And it's just one of those things here. We've got that start. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Involve a lot of different cars. But I have to say, honestly, I don't think we saw that many retirements out of it. Martin Van Loosnoord, he's going to go to the inside, looking at corner number one. Corner number one, the outside line is almost faster. It's very possible to perform an outside line pass as they go in through turn number one, because just as you clip the apex of turn number one, you get ready for turn number two, which is much slower. You scrub off about 20-30 miles an hour, and you'll get right back on it. That Evolution Racing Australia Renault, he's got no problem getting the position back over Martin Van Loosnoord, but well, it's one of those things. He's going to hold right here. Actually, if Martin goes to the inside, which he does, this is a very tight right-hander. As it follows around, they will circle through here and almost clipping the rear end of Simon Povey here, as Martin Van Loosnoord will go in front of Riley Preston. It's a very switchback track here, Jake, and an impressive track at that.
Yes, certainly, and I'm looking here at the 87 machine, LM Rennsport, Michael Mittner, because there is a train developing, and not just one of these small trains. This is an absolutely huge train which goes all the way back to Lucas Gotch, and by my reckoning, that is an 11-car train here at the moment, heading themselves down through Lukey Heights right now, and you got to think that Samuel Clark behind is going to have to play defensive from David Jarvis. Here as he run it through turn number 10, and now onto this turn 11, 12. The run is so important here. We see it all the time, where final lap decisions can be made just on this overtaking opportunity into turn number one. You can see just how much they want it at the moment, as we are going to go look ahead, because at the moment it seems Cam Stark gets his way through again on Wyatt Gooden, up into second position right now. These two need to work together to close a 2-second gap here on Showthorse. Otherwise, their race might just be over already, Cam.
Well, yes, and of course, with Cam Stark and Martin, they have to catch, well, Simon Povey has to catch Cam Stark, Wyatt Gooden in Showthorse. And Wyatt Gooden and Cam Stark, they're doing some good running, just as we saw in the past that they had. Wyatt Gooden, he's sticking his nose to the inside. Cam Stark losing the rear end as he kicks up a bunch of dust and dirt and gravel, gets his tires covered of it, but which obviously doesn't help him set up for the next corner, but he had the inside line. So Wyatt Gooden, though, making a fair attempt here to try and get by. Perhaps he's realized, I can go a little faster than you, so I'm going to put the pressure on. I'm going to get past. As Showthorse, he's not that far up the track. He's only got about a 2-second lead right now over Cam Stark for this 30-lap feature. But just looking through the whole of the field here, David Jarvis, that number 92 car, very racy against Samuel Clark in that TNT car, and this is right in the front of that extraordinarily large pack you were talking about, Jake.
Oh yes, sure it is. And now you look at Michael Mittner here trying to break away in that LM Rennsport machine. And you look at Clark, you look at Jarvis, and now Clark's going to play the duck. Remember, the slipstream is about 6/10 the gap. You can see Jarvis moving to the inside, and they're going to be 2 by 2, are they?
Oh, they're going to look to
they're
go
all
4
going to
wide.
work it out. Oh, they're going to go 4 wide. Oh, you can't believe that they are.
No.
Zareskowski trying to make a move sorted, but Jarvis makes his way through, and they're still going to be 2 wide, are they? No, as they head down into the left-hander of turn number 2. And now you look at Zareskowski there. He's having a bit of a fight with Joel Guez there in the 105. And now they're going to continue to run it, because there is still a lot of battling to go on. And don't forget Justin Brunner's Vortex Sim Racing car there, who's going to go look to the inside of Zareskowski there. The man, the myth, the legend, down the inside. Makes it sorted, and just behind him, Oscar Mangan making a way through, and Thomas Schmidt there. Great battling in the lower half of your top 20. Crucial points to be had all throughout your field, Cam.
It may be for the top 20, but boy, this feels like a top 5 race anywhere you could go on the sim racing service that we have here on iRacing. I have to say, those Gecko sim racing cars, they have stuck together, and they are working their way through the field. Well, Justin Bruner, he had kind of a rough start. He started in 14th, he's back to 17th, but Joel Glass, he started in 26th, he's up to 16th, so it's a pair of Gecko Sim Racing Renaults trying to track down Samuel Clark there, as they have just cleared Vladimir and Oscar Mangan. So as all these cars are getting away here, I have to say this has been some impressive running ever since that first lap incident that we saw. Everything else seems to be going fairly clean here as, Freak Show first, he's opened up his gap to 2.2 seconds, Jake, and, it looks like Riley Preston and that Evolution Racing Australia Renault, that 500 car, is once again trying. He seems to have caught right up to the rear end of Martin Van Looshoort, and he is trying to get his way through here on lap number 7.
Oh, yes, he is. We're going to see him try and make a move, but no, he doesn't quite get it at the moment. But we are going to look back at Mr. 2K Cup himself, 27, Philippe Lebert, because he's just run a little bit wide, and that might allow Klaus Ellenbrand here in the 49 machine to try and have a little bit of look. But there is company in Lionel Gamay and Vinny Rocha himself in the 191 machine. So this is a juicy 4-car train. Normally when you'd see them in the skip barbers, they'd be up at the front, but not here. They're fighting for the top 10 at the moment. Into Lukey Heights, the scary left-hander. Remember, this was where Tormula lost his incident in the iRacing World Championship Series. And well, this is always going to be a difficult opportunity. But now you look at the run. Now you look at this sitting duck mentality that you normally see in NASCAR, Cam. You look at Philippe Lebert trying to get that run away. And now you think of Ellenbrand now as being the target for everyone to try and chase.
Yes, that 49 car of Klaus Ellenbrand, he is going to be holding on, but, if he can keep the outside line, he has it. Lionel Gamut will be pushing, but look at how close he tries and drives into the outside. Well, actually, this isn't this was the start-finish straight. I was wondering where the pits all went. Lionel Gamut will have Vinicius Rocha looking on his inside, but that didn't work out. That's always a rough turn to try to make a pass on to go to the inside of turn number 2 because of how it is angled so much. There's a lot of topsy-turvy cambered corners here, so it's very difficult to try and push too wide unless you get into turn number 3 here as Martin Van Looshoort is looking right ahead of Riley Preston, and just as Philippe Lebert is trying to break away with Klaus Ellenbrand, we still just have massive amounts of action here, and even going further back, Mark Jarvis in his number 2 Renault, he's got a little bit of rear wing damage. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all, though, even though he did start in 5th. I think something happened with that car, obviously why he's back there, but he seems to be getting pretty racy against Samuel Clark and Thomas Schmidt.
Oh, yes, he is. Let's see what that Carbon racing machine is going to do. Carbon, one of the smaller teams, but much lot like a family in way it operates, but you have to say there are a lot of battles going on. The trains are starting to break away a little bit. You talk about this battle here, we talked about Michael Mittner a couple of times, but now he has company of David Jarvis, Mark Jarvis' actual brother, and now this is what we're here to look to see. Look at David Jarvis now. He's going to go and pull himself into the slipstream. He'll now move to the inside because Mittner's got no slipstream, and now they're going to be side by side as they head to turn number 1. Just a slight lift as you head into this right-hander, and Mittner has to yield here to David Jarvis, and now these two have to work together in kind of a pseudo overtake standard in order to catch Cy Andra in the 240 machine up ahead.
Yes, that green and white 240 car, that Blackadder Motorsports car, is definitely working away. And though he is on an island, he's well behind Vinicius Rocha as far as where the cars are actually placed. And if they're not careful, Justin Brunner and Joel Perez, they are actually not that far behind the Gecko Sim Racing Renaults. This is just an exciting run in there, and we have somebody has spun out. Samuel Clark, the TNT car that we have been watching. He has managed to take it for a loop, and that was, I believe, going into corner number 3, and that was just ahead of Mark Jarvis and Thomas Schmidt and Lucas Gosch that we were just watching.
Oh, what a shame for him. But to note with Justin Brunner, they're in the number 102 machine. He and Mittner go back a very long way, and these two will be rivals as they look to try and push themselves now through this final corner. It seems that David Jarvis is actually starting to break away here from Mittner, so Brunner can actually close this gap very comfortably down the front straightaway, and you can see it all closing all the time. Brunner looking to try and really reel it in, but you see the curve on the left-hand side. He moves to the inside now on Michael Mittner. These two, it's going to be the Austrian against the American, and Brunner shows his class, but runs a little bit wide. Mittner trying to go around the outside at 2. It's not going to happen, but now he's going to fall into the clutches of Joel Guez, Brunner's teammate, just behind, and this is so fantastic. But we're going to look up the field because now Lebert's going to be under a bit of pressure here from Klaus Ellenbrand as they head into Honda, turn number 4. And well, the run to Siberia turn 6 will come along, and it seems that Le Bear has just got away there, Cam.
Well, he absolutely does. This battle, this 4-car battle, earmarked by the TNT cars of Vinicius Rocha and Philippe Lebert, Klaus Ellenbrand and Lionel Gamut. It's one of those tough situations. You have got a car pressuring you from behind and a car pressuring or car changing layer lines up just ahead of you. So it's an exciting run just to watch this battle, but to be a part of it would be very, very, very difficult. And you got to remember, this is for position 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, and 10th, I believe. But for the most part, though, I have to say, everyone seems to be running fairly well up front. Freak Chauffeurs, though, he crosses the line of the 125.5. And Wyatt Gooden and Cam Stark are actually going to go 2 wide into corner number 1 here. I believe that this is fairly processional. When they do go, I think that this is just trying to perhaps get the draft to working. But just as we saw earlier, it was it's a 125.5 for Freak Chauffeurs, who is completely by himself. Cam Stark a 125.5 and a Wyatt Gooden a 125.3, but they are so far back. If they trade these laps like this, I don't think they are necessarily going to have enough time. And Wyatt Gooden is already looking to go possibly on the inside, but I think he's realizing, look, if we want a chance of winning this, we've got to start working together, as much as they might not like it.
Oh yes, most certainly, and these two, well, they are at the quick of the quick, and they all want to have a piece of glory here. Of course, Cam Stark already having glory earlier on in the official race that we showed on iRacing Live by RaceSpot TV, and they did a fantastic job at that. His fight with Govan Keeney will go down as one of the best last laps I've seen for a very long time. But you have to remember, Cam, well, we have a spinner, and who would that be? Oh, I don't quite know who it is.
Yep, that's Vladimir in the 112. It's Orestevsky, I think, as that's the closest I'm going to get to that pronunciation. He was in that battle with Mark Jarvis, and ultimately he lost the rear end of that car. Didn't collect anybody, but very, very lucky to not go into the wall.
The man, the myth, the legend then goes down the field as I struggled to find what we wanted to find, but you have to look at Riley Preston now here, having a go on Martin van Loosenhoorn in the 57 into turn number 1, and he makes it look very processional, very comfortable there. And now you look at all this fighting going on. Big twitch there from van Loosenhoorn as he tries to get it through 2. And well, these guys are here in the fight for 4th at the moment, but what has to be said is there is a pit stop window that will open up at about around lap number 15, and it could go anywhere to lap 24 from my reckoning. And well, these guys are all going to be up there having a fight. Lionel Gamay under pressure from Vinicius Rocha right now. Into Honda they come along, and well, not quite close enough at the moment, but opportunities will arise as the laps go on and the pressure starts to tell, Cam.
Oh, absolutely. And looking back for at car number 35, Nick Thyssen, trying to get a little further back in the field here. We got to remember just how many cars we have here. There's so many of these full-fledged Formula Renault cars. It's a lot different than seeing a giant pack of Skip Barber cars, because they're just such a different platform. Just to see so many of these open-wheel full-fledged, grown-up Renaults is impressive. But Nick Thyssen and Thomas Schmidt are going at it for position number 19 in the field, and going even further back, they are still fighting, as Lars Jacobsen and Javier Martinez, even in the car number 45, he makes a pass on Lars Jacobsen. As, they are doing that just ahead of a rather familiar name for the Gecko Sim Racing. It's Balaz Remnick, and they've actually just had an incident. Javier Martinez and I believe that was, just as I just said, Lars Jacobsen. They had an incident there. So very unfortunate. They're going in through that steep right-hander. You're going very quickly up the hill. You crest it. You immediately go down. You try and get on the braking. Lars looked to go on the inside line. It just didn't work out for him.
Looking at Arjen de Freitas now in the 86, he's way down the field as he makes the move for 28th on the car that span earlier. Vladimir Zereshkovsky there as they look to go into turn number 2. Well, it seems that he's had an incident earlier on in this race, de Freitas. He qualified 7th on the grid, and this will not be what he wants to have in terms of his Formula Renault 2K Cup opening race to be. Of course, these races alternate. One week we have the Formula Renaults, the other week we have the Skip Barber 2.0s, and well, it's always fantastic battling up and down your field, but we're going to focus here on the battle for second now. Wyatt Gooden and Cam Stark right now as they head through turn number 11 on circuit, looking to run turn number 12 properly and get that run sorted down onto the front straightaway. The gap Last time by was 2.5 seconds, so they are really working hard. They've already pulled half a second back, and they can see the move from Wyatt Gooden. He'll go to the inside now, and Cam Stark will let this one pass by him very, very comfortably at the moment, as these guys look to fight. Lap times were 2:05, well, 1:25.5 between them. Freak Show Thorster 1:25.6. He's got to time trial away at the front, but he knows that these two are closing down, and he will have to be careful about where he places his car and how he keeps it on the island, Cam.
Yes, that Shothorst piloted 110 Renault is, well, it's extraordinarily powerful when you've got two trying to catch you down, and you are still managing to do very, very similar lap times. It was 2.5 seconds at the line. I have a feeling it's now down to about 2.2, 2.3 seconds. Now 2.4 according to my timing and scoring. And of course, timing and scoring is available on racespot.tv/timing. But Jake, you know what? If you're Freak Shothorst, I mean, you had such a great start here. Now it's going to come down to the pit stops here. You've got to absolutely nail your pit stop. And pit entry here at Phillip Island Raceway is just, well, it's a very, very difficult pit entry. And pit exit can be all the more dangerous depending on how you get in and out of traffic.
Oh yes, most certainly. You look at this pit exit, you have to take it quick, and it's pretty much one line suits all. And see, if you put 2 wheels off here, 2 wheels off there, it's all going to be problems for you if it all starts going wrong. And well, what you have to think...
Speaking of that, just now Tony Repsard was leaving the pit lane, and he had to make Freak Shothorst go onto the inside line, going through turn number 1, which has scrubbed a little bit of his speed down. So Cam Stark and Wyatt Gooden are going to get a little bit of a bonus about that. It's weird when you're talking about something, you literally see it happen as we're talking about it. But either way, yeah, Tony had come down into the pits, and ultimately that had forced Freak to scrub off a little bit of speed and go onto the inside line, going into corner number 1.
Oh yes, well that's a really isolated instant at the moment, and you can see just how much that gap's going to affect Freak Shothorst right now, who is going to try and pull himself back here. And just remember this 4-car train here with Phillip heading the field right now. Of course, fuel's going to be an issue once you're in that slipstream. You don't necessarily have to make the move. You can always wait and make sure you save that fuel to get that extra lap in order to get out. And pit stops are really what's not practiced. Remember, these guys normally do 18 laps. These guys are only really sprint race racers. But you talk about the likes of Leibert, who has 2K Cup experience, and, well, the likes of Vinny Rocha, who seem to have fallen off the back of this group, possibly. Well, it's all going to be about this experience and getting pit stops sorted. But for now, Leibert starting to get away at the moment.
Yes, and Vinicius Rocha, that TNT car who was chasing down Lionel Gambit, looked just like he started getting under the throttle here, and perhaps his Michelin tires giving out just a little as he was going through that corner. It was actually the same corner that Vladimir had spun himself out, but Vinicius Rocha instead going to the inside. No oncoming traffic, though. He was able to spin his Renault around and get back going. He actually will get back on track, and he will sort himself right between Mark Jarvis and somebody else, and everybody seemed to be coming down pit lane just like that.
Yes, they are, but Michael Mittner and Thomas Schmidt side by side into turn number 1 they come along, and Mittner will take the position after a half spin, but no, round the outside, looking Thomas Schmidt, but it's not going to work out because he's going to get it horribly wrong and spin his car around on the racing line, and very good avoidance from everyone. He gets it going again, but that was not what Thomas Schmidt wanted. The pit stop window is well and truly open right now, and it's all down to the game of chicken here, Cam, because any one of the leading 3 can come into the pit lane, and any one of the leading 3 could be the first to blink in this situation. We're just going to watch and see how they go. Will anybody pit this time by? Shothorst is deciding to stay out. Will Cam Stark and Wyatt Gooden stay out? Yes, one more lap possibly.
Yes, we saw a lot of cars in the back of the field coming down pit lane there, and now they're going to be coming out. So it's just it's one of those things, just that pit entry, so very, very dangerous. As Cy Andrea is showing us, he loses the front end, but he managed to collect it. How did he save the front end of that car? That was almost in the dirt. He had 2 wheels off, and he had ended up locking it up, but he ended up securing that car. Him, Oscar Mangan, David Jarvis, and Justin Bruner are coming in. Now, Justin Bruner coming in, whereas his teammate, Joe Glaz, will be staying out. So that's interesting. I think they are just getting their fuel as we're looking right now to Wyatt Gooden. Wyatt Gooden is ahead of Cam Stark here, and this is a little bit out of procedure here, as I think Cam Stark was up ahead. I think Wyatt Gooden just went around. And, oh, no, he ended up doing that due to a car leaving the pits there. And, well, it seems that they're once again starting to fight, Jake, between Cam Stark and Wyatt Gooden. They're right behind Tony Rupasard, who seems to be running some pretty fair laps. Even though he is lap traffic, though, I mean, it's not necessarily going to be an easy enough thing to get around him and keep scrubbing off the speed of Freak Schulthorst.
Oh yes, most certainly. You can see them brake now down into turn number 10, and now you can see what Wyatt Gooden needs to do. He needs to run the slipstream as well as he can in order to make sure that he gets everything sorted, but they're both going to run in. Very late decision there from Wyatt Gooden. And, well, something to note is Schulthorst is in as well. The leading three are all on pit road right now. We're going to focus on this one at the moment because this is where all the money is going to be frayed. And, of course, the two Jarvises are together, David and Mark as well. But we need to focus here on pit road, because this is the battle that everyone will want to see. Who will be the first to go? And the answer is Schulthorst. He gets away very comfortably. Gooden away, but now he has a gap to Cam Stark, and that was a horrible pit stop by his Mark Cam, because now he's got to do everything all over again.
Well, maybe not. He ended up taking the early exit. There was no oncoming traffic, though, so he was able to work his way up to speed perhaps a little faster. Yeah, I don't think it's going to mean anything, as Wyatt Gooden was able to clear very nicely Cam Stark as the rest of the field is pulling away. There are actually two exits of pit lane, confusingly enough, as there's a quick access road to the outside and then a long road to the right. But yes, overall, though, the entirety of pit lane just lit up. I'm not necessarily sure. I'm pretty sure everyone had taken tires during this time, Jake, correct?
Oh, well, it's going to be a difficult one to see. You got to think about these drivers. It might be a case of taking tyres, but generally I think that they wouldn't have taken tyres, only fuel. But this is a gamble from everyone, because the tyre wear might become a factor towards the end of the race, and you might see some cars lose it where generally they wouldn't. We are going to go back to the Jarvises, Mark and David Jarvis here, as they run themselves together on circuit, as they head themselves out of Siberia right now and heading themselves up towards Lukey Heights. Turn number 8, you take absolutely flat right now. And, well, Cam, you have to say, with David Jarvis behind and Mark Jarvis's carbon racing car, it's kind of a bit of a false friend. He started 5th, he's back into 15th now, and he's just got to work one car at a time, does Jarvis, in order to pull himself up through the field.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of a tale of two stories here. You've got David Jarvis, he started in 24th, and I think he was just ahead of that massive incident that happened on lap 1. If not, he managed to drive his way through it. And then you've got Mark Jarvis, who started in 5th, and he is well back. As well, they're just it's friendly because you're brothers. You're not going to end up having an incident or anything like that. I have to say, just how unique is that to have that happen? But either way, David and Mark, they'll go by. I think Mark was trying to let his brother to go through, and ultimately, though, his brother doesn't seem to buy it, and they will go continue to going. Mark Jarvis and David Jarvis, they'll work their way through as the rest of the field. Now that everyone has cycled through the pit cycles, we're seeing just where everybody lies. And, well, we have Hugo Preto, he is on pit lane. Nicholas Johnson, he is also finishing his pit stop for the day. As Freak Schulthorst, I think he is looking to perhaps start getting into some lap traffic here, as we are on lap number 19 of 30. And, well, Freak Schulthorst, not bad at all at the end of the day there. 2.5 seconds. That's exactly where they left off. That's not a bad day at all as far as the pit goes.
Absolutely not. We're going to get a graphic now on the left-hand side of your screen to see where the biggest movers and shakers are in your grid. And at the moment, Riley pressing up 4 positions. Philippe Lebert, Mr. 2K Cup, up 3. But we've got to focus on the 49er Klaus Ellenbrand right now, because he is in a great position up through your top 10. He's up 7 positions at the moment. And we do have news that our live timing and scoring has crashed. So try and fix that for you as soon as you can. Ellenbrand to the inside. Lebert will have to play second fiddle right now as he looks to try and battle for 7th position on circuit. This is not the best day for Lebert. It has been noted that he hasn't enjoyed this car. And, well, he's going to have to try and focus, trying to have to think about how he is going to continue racing, Cam.
how couldn't you enjoy this car? Well, this is coming from me being an open-wheel driver. I have to say, if you're coming from the Skip Barber series, perhaps you're a longtime viewer of our Skip Barber 2K World Cup series that we've covered for a couple of seasons here on RaceSpot TV. Well, this is the first we're running of the Formula Renault. I have to say, though, Jake, I'm presuming, obviously, it's faster to fuel the car than it is to get the rattle guns out and change out the tires, but we're dealing with an entirely different, as Klaus Ellebrand is just showing us just ahead of us. He lost the rear end of that car right in front of Philippe Lebert, though he gathered it back up, and Philippe Lebert, that number 27 TNT car, is about to swallow him up. I have to say, it's not like you're running these Skip Barber tires, which were not really the raciest of tires. Now we're dealing with full-size slicks, thicker rears, wider rears, thinner fronts. It's a little strange to me to not take tires, but that's I think that everyone's just taking their feelers around here, as it wouldn't be surprising to me if we don't see some sort of slipping and sliding action as this race develops.
We're going to look at this battle for 19th, because now we have the Thibaut Subravan train here going on for 19th and further down. You can see already Ricardo Ferreira under pressure from Christian Takashi's Red Devolution car down to the inside for turn number 1. But no, it'll be holding around the outside, Ricardo Ferreira. And now Takashi has run a little bit wide there through that corner, and that will allow De Freitas to come and make his way through here at this moment. You look at this train, you look at the cars who are there. Javier Soto, you look at Kevin Vaughan, Samuel Clark, Thomas Torp off the back of that group as well. It's a fantastic name of who's who. And now you look at Ricardo Ferreira having a go at Subravan into Honda, and well, can he get it sorted? Answer to that one is yes. And De Freitas trying to be cheeky. He'll have to go side by side at Siberia, and that will only suit Subravan right now. And well, he's going to try it, but it's not going to work out, is it? Well, he's going to keep his car there, and they're going to continue to fight as they head for Lukey Heights, which is only going to suit Subravan again. As they look, they're going to be side by side still as they head to the big left-hander of Lukey Heights, and it's going to be De Freitas who wins out. Fantastic racing between the two of them. A good half a lap there to set up a fantastic move.
Well, absolutely. Ariane De Freitas working, muscling his way on the outside line. He didn't back out, as Thibaut Soubillon will end up having to lose that position. He will go back down to, I believe that'll be 22nd or 23rd, depending, as Ricardo Ferreira is in 21st. So yes, it will, by that virtue, then go right back down. But all that work, though, going for nothing, as Thibaut Soubillon will be going onto the outside line. That is the preferred line going into turn number 1. Why wouldn't Ariane De Freitas cover that, as he has managed to lose that position before they even enter turn number 1? And all that effort, all that work, John, just like that. And that is the power of the draft here, as Ariane is dealing with a little bit of tire wear, I think. I'm seeing quite a few of these cars actually here, as Kristen Takas also will start to become unsettled here. But Ariane De Freitas possibly looking to the outside, possibly looking to the inside. Once again, the battles here in the top 20 heating absolutely, as everybody is late on the brakes going into corner number 4. And Jake, it is just an exciting battle at that.
Yes, it is, and don't forget Kevin Vaughan going through now on Javier Soto. Soto trying to make the move on to Cash, and it doesn't quite work out. But further up your field, the battle here between Nick Thyssen and Vinicius Rocha right now. This is what is going for 17th place on circuit, and well, Thyssen will try and use Lucas Gotch as a bit of an advantage. And what a story Lucas Gotch has been. Started at the back of the grid in 45th. He's up to 16th, Cam. He has climbed a massive 29 places. And now, as we say that, there's been an incident.
Yes, Vinicius Rocha has looped the car once again. As, well, I don't think he's coming back from that one, though. Let's take a look here. That's, it's not going to be a DNF there. Let me just, I'm trying to find it. I believe we have already seen the replay. And, well, it's sort of an interesting thing here. He just seems to have lost the rear, and perhaps he just got stuck in the gravel. Perhaps he just, that was it for his car, but he lost the rear end there, and that is going to be it for Vinny. So, a poor start to this. As he was taking a retirement, he was in 17th position, but now he will be dropping well back down. As looking at the actual retirements, we have all the way back down to 43rd still running, so that is a tall price that he is going to have to pay, Jake.
Oh yes, certainly, but right now, looking at this battle heading up now for 5th place on circuit. Martin van Loosenord and Simon Povey, they find themselves together on circuit at the moment, and they'll be looking to try and make sure that they get their move sorted to catch Riley Preston in the 500 car just ahead of them. But now you just look at this slipstream here, it's just going to close in a little bit more for Simon Povey. He is going to just pull himself onto the back, but this opening opportunity will go away from him. But if you can stick with it through 2, Cam, you can see Van Loosenord start to become in a little bit of trouble as they head for Honda. You can see a big move trying to go for the inside, showed his nose but said no thank you. And well, for Martin van Loosenord, he's going to have to be very careful about Povey behind him in the fight for 5th place.
Yes, and it is the Panda Motorsports versus the Apex Racing Formula Renault. I keep wanting to say Skip Barbercar. It's going to take a long time to get that one out, but I have to say we are just seeing the same amount of action that we can always see here from any 2K World Cup series. As Martin van Loosenord, he is working very hard over Simon Povey, and Simon Povey, though, he is, well, these guys have been racing, battling together all race long. They started not next to each other, but in 6th and 4th. And, well, you know what? Martin van Loosenord and Simon Povey, they've been putting on a good race, and it's allowed Riley Preston to get a little further up the field in 4th position for, that is the Evolution Racing Australia car. And for the most part, though, everyone just seems to be getting fairly squared away right now. As, where did Cam Stark go? Cam Stark seems to be well off the rear end of Wyatt Gooden still, so I have to say, Wyatt Gooden, for all it is, after that pit cycle, he is just getting fallen further and further back.
2K Cup, it's Philippe Lebert trying to go through on Klaus Ellenbrand here into turn number 1, and he gets it sorted. Very good move there from Philippe Lebert in the battle for 7th place. And now Ellenbrand will want to try and come back at turn 3 and 4. Into 2 he comes along right now. The big long left, which will always try and spit you out. You're going slower and slower, and now you hit the power. You hit through Casey Stoner curve right now. Turn number 3 to left. And you can see Ellenbrand now trying to have a little bit of a look here on Philippe Lebert, but it's not going to appear into Honda. Of course, this track used to be a test track for the Honda MotoGP team. So that is why this circuit is so important in history. But for these cars, they are flying around in these Formula Renaults. We are 25 laps into this race, and this will be a stunning fight to the very end, up and down your field. But right now, Simon Povey once again all over the back of Martin van Loosenord as they head through Lukey Heights and down into turn number 10 on circuit. You've just got to look at that gap. It is about 3/10 between them, and that will be bait. It will be candy for Simon Povey to go and chase, to go and want, to go and take. Because now you'll look at this gap through the final corner. You'll look at this gap start to close in more and more and more. But no, he's going to take to the outside and not run the slipstream. The game of cat and mouse already starting to take effect here, Cam, because these two are really playing a game of chicken and not actually catching Riley Preston ahead.
Yes, and of course you got to look at tire usage here as Martin van Loosenord. Well, you could almost say he leaves the inside open, but there is no inside at corner number 2. It's very deceptive. And I have to say, just looking out throughout the track, Ricardo Ferreira ended up having a self-spin. He ended up putting it in the gravel. He put it back on the track, and he is continuing, but he did lose a couple of positions. But as we just see these battles, they are slowly starting to brew, slowly starting to heat up here. We've got less than 4 laps here to go in the opening round of the Formula Renault 2K World Cup Series. And Freak Show Horst, well, he's putting on a clinic in a car that's relatively new, as Wyatt Gooden is 3.5 seconds back, and Cam Stark is 5.4 seconds back. But we are just seeing quite a lot of battles here in the opening round here in this 30-lap event. And, well, for the most part, though, I have to say, going from Theobald Soberon back, there's another 4-car pack with Christian Tax, Kevin Vaughn, and Samuel Clark all together.
Yes, it is, and Christian Takash, a Red Devolution driver here, trying to find his way through on Thibaut Subrevand right now as they head through Lukey Heights. So try and get that run sorted for turn number 1. Is he going to be within range? Well, I think he just about might be as he looks to head through the left-hander here of turn number 11. The run onto turn 12, but no, he gets a horrible exit, and now he becomes candy for Kevin Vaughan to try and go through. You look at Vaughan, he's all over the back already, and he's going to try and make the run. He's gone defensive already here as Christian Takash going to the outside to block that line. It will have to be down the inside, Kevin Vaughan. Vaughan on the inside trying to make the move, and can he get it sorted into turn 1? Yes, he can. Very comfortable. Very good move, but there are battles up and down your field right now, and one to focus on is Cy Andra and Justin Brunner. 240 versus 102, the battle for 10th place. That one's heating up, and Brunner, such an experienced driver, will be looking to try and hold off the charge of Cy Andra right now as he head through, if I can get my words out, they head through Siberia and now up towards Lukey Heights camp.
Now, absolutely, inside getting a good run, perhaps looking. No, he will not. I think they're going to wait till they get to the uphill and then the downhill. This is they're going to a very tight right-hander here. Lionel Gamet is in it as Justin Brunner comes to it, Cy Andrea comes to it, and Oscar Mangan comes to it, along with Mark Jarvis, who seems to have shaken his brother, as Joel Guez is following behind in the Gecko car. But Justin Brunner, though, he has managed to run the front-running thing here. I have to say, though, Brunner and Guez, they were at one point right with each other. Now, Justin came in first, and he is well ahead of the field now, as Justin Brunner is right ahead of Cy Andra. Andra looking possibly, no, he will not do anything with it. So, Justin Brunner, he will continue to be in 10th position, and for the most part, though, I have to say, if you're Lionel Gamet, it's kind of a sigh of relief. You get to just focus on the car ahead of you, and that is the number 27 car, Philippe Lebert.
But I think he's just ran himself out of slipstream range at the moment, so he's going to have to hope that Lebert and Ellenbrand are going to scrap it out right now here in this battle for 7th place. And don't forget the battle for 5th as well. Van Loosnord and Povey will be together. 3 laps to go here of this opening race here in the Formula Renault 2K Cup, brought to you on iRacing Live by RaceBot TV. This has been a pleasure to commentate on. We're going to stay with Philippe Lebert for the moment as he looks to try and find a way past Klaus Ellenbrand right now. There in the number 49 machine. And well, you can see what's going to happen down through Lukey Heights. Now into turn 10, the big break down the hill. So difficult to judge that one correctly. And if he is in range right now, Philippe Lebert, he could have a possibility of getting onto the back. It's so imperative to stay in slipstream range here as you look at them go through this left-hander cam. This has been a fantastic race for these two, and well, for Philippe Lebert, you have to say it's damage limitation.
Well, absolutely, though. Well, Philippe did start in 10th position. He is now into 8th position, so Philippe Lebert doing what he can. But you know what? It's not bad if you're just coming into this car here. Everyone is still coming to grips with it in some instances. Of course, we've had this car for quite a couple of weeks now, but still getting used to it in an environment such as this. It does take some time. To get used to the new muscle memory, new things you got to remember, new tires you got to wrap your head around, new aero, new pit entry, much wider car, much longer car. So coming to grips with all of that in a car you normally drove, it is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world, but I have to say, for a lot of the regulars that we're seeing from the Skip Barber 2K World Cup Series, they're doing fairly well here, though I have to say quite a few of the familiar names going well far back, but I have a feeling that they were involved in that first lap incident, and we will see them a little later in the season, of course, as this is only, Jake, just round 1. Can you imagine? We've got many more rounds of this coming up ahead.
Oh yes, certainly. We're going to have rounds for you every week, alternating, which will take you all the way up to November and December in order to sort out who will be the champion. Povey and Van Loosnord, as they start their final lap. Van Loosnord looking to use Greg Sykes up ahead as a bit of bait as they head into turn 1. Povey around the outside, and they get very close, but it's going through right now, and it's been a fantastic bit of battling going on. And don't forget Philippe Lebert, because he's found his way around Klaus Ellenbrand into turn 1 as well. But it's all going to be the runs into 3 and 4 that we're going to focus on. We're going to move back up ahead to Van Loosnord, see if he can make his move sorted here on Simon Povey. Down into Honda. Answer no, he's too far back. Can Ellenbrand do anything on Philippe Lebert? Answer is he's going to go to the outside on the brakes, but I don't think he can do it quite yet, can he? No, he can't. So we will focus now back onto the race leader. His name is Freak Showthorst. We haven't talked about him too often in this broadcast, but he he heads down turn number 10 right now. Just traffic ahead of Scott McIntyre, but he won't be of any issue because Freak Show Thorst, one more corner to go. It's lights to flag, it's Vetteless. It is superstar Freak Show Thorst who will go and take the opening race of the season here in your Formula Renault 2K Cup. Take your hat off, he's done a stunner. And well, Wyatt Gooden over in second, Cam Start what could have been in third. But we look at this battle for fourth and fifth, I think Povey's got it. But Cam, look at all these battles going up through the field. They are absolutely fantastic.
Yes, as the battles have come through, Martin van Loosenoord, I think he ran out of fuel, so that was good timing there, as he will pull his car off. Philippe Lebert coming through, Klaus Ellenbrand, a last lap pass for Philippe Lebert for 7th position. Lionel Dammit will come across the line here. Doesn't look like there was any more dramas as they came in through the start-finish line. Actually, Syandra had run out of fuel, as we're looking currently at the number 87 car. That's Michael Mittner, as he is working through the final thing here. As well, we've seen quite a few cars kick the engines off as they've run out of fuel. I think Syandra ended up losing a position due to being out of fuel. And Jake, well, it's the calculations you've got to do here. They managed to pucker off going across the line.
Yes, they are. Looking at Xavier Sanchez now going side by side across the finish line with Stefan Schwegler, who's going to win it. Sightwager even, if I get my names wrong, getting it all shapes are correct right now as he goes through. It looks like almost every car in the field is across the line at the moment, so we can run you through your final race results here in the 2K Cup. First round of the race here at Phillip Island, and it was Freak Show Thorst who took the win by 3.5 seconds over Wyatt Gooden in second. Cam Stark, he finishes off in third with a 6.3 second deficit to the leader. Riley Preston, great result for him in fourth with Simon Povey fifth. Martin van Loosenoord will be sixth with Mr. 2K Cup. Philippe Lebert there in seventh. Klaus Ellerbrand eighth, Lionel Gamet ninth, and Justin Brunner rounding out your top 10. But looking back down the field, what could have been for Mark Jarvis after qualifying fifth, what could have been for De Freitas, who qualified seventh, who finished 18th. And well, you got to look at some other names. Mittner and Takash, they could have done a lot more, and so could have Vladimir Zereshkovsky, the man, the myth, the legend there. Started 20th, back down in 26th. Just a few retirements to name. Vinicius Rocha will think of something better, so will Tuan Tran, like some Matthew Daniels in that lap one instance. Same with Simon Holbert. But it's been a fantastic race, and don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will join you with a few driver interviews. Well, we've just had an absolute stunning race where we've seen Freak Show Force take the win in a lights to flag, fantastic piece of battling, but up and down your field, it was absolutely amazing. And well, we're joined by Mr. 2K Cup himself here in this broadcast. We are joined with Philippe Lebert. Philippe, well, you qualified 10th on the grid, and qualifying itself is very difficult because you have the likes of about 130 odd drivers trying to qualify at the same time. You have to qualify the day before. Yes, there is 30 hours in order to get your qualifying in, but you only get 2 laps, and that is the crucial thing. Just how difficult was qualifying for you?
It was nerve-wracking. I've never been so nervous for qualifying as yesterday. It was, yeah, knowing that a few tenths could mean the difference between making it in the top split and falling down to the bottom split is just too much to handle.
Yes, of course, but your racing really got off to an okay start, and where you saw drivers lose it here, lose it there, go off here, go off there. Was it a case of keeping it on the island, to coin a little bit of a pun with Phillip Island, as it were?
Yeah, I just wanted to finish because I haven't been lucky in other races this week. So, and it almost ended when on lap 2 someone went off just ahead of me, and he got back on the track and collected the guy in front of me, and I just missed him. So I was just happy to stay alive for the rest of the race, and too bad we started battling for P7 because I think we could have stayed with the lead pack, but yeah. Didn't happen, but I'll take P7 in this field any day.
Yes, of course. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that the next time we're in the Formula Renaults will be at Road Atlanta, if I'm correct. And it's definitely a difficult track. It's a bit more technical than Phillip Island will be. And also, it's another quick circuit, so you're going to see a tight split again. Just how are you going to improve yourself in the next 2 weeks in order to put yourself even closer to that top 5 and even the top step of the podium?
I'll just practice a lot because I'm still getting used to the car. I'm used to driving the Skippy, so it's completely different. And I'm going to work with my team, TNT Racing. They've been very helpful last week to prepare me for this race. So I'll just do the same, but try to improve even more.
Yes, thank you, Philippe, for joining us. But now, Cam Walsh standing by with a driver who didn't have the best of races today, started 7th, finished 18th. That is Arjun de Freitas.
Ariane, how are you doing? Well, the car seems to be slightly bigger. You bolted some wings on, you put some slicks on there, well, you came home qualified 7th out of some 130 other drivers. Not, I have to say, not bad, but finishing 18th, well, the story says so much more.
Yeah, the story says much more. Yeah, I like this car, man. It's completely different from the Skippy, though, and but yeah, I seem to have some pace in here, so that's nice. But yeah, the story, I jumped my start and rejoined or had a black flag, so I had to serve a penalty. It was only 1 second though, so I'm happy with that. After that, I rejoined in 38, and I fought my way back.
Well, I noticed you back there. I didn't know if you ended up going for a loop or if you did jump the start. There was a little bit of something going on, I believe, at the on the first lap. But well, you did. You managed to fight your way back up to 18th position, right behind Nick Thyssen and just ahead of Thibault Soberon. But well, for the most part, though, this Formula Renault, you seem to be taking to it. But this Phillip Islands track, it's always sort of an interesting circuit. So what's it like to try and go through dealing with so many different cars and so many different ways on a track such as this?
Well, I wanted to prove to myself that I'm not a one-trick pony, being quite good in the Skippies, and I anticipated the Renault to come and gonna race it, and I think it's awesome. I have good pace in here, and yeah, the racing is quite good. I have not seen much incidents in the top splits, and also all the splits during the week, all the top splits are around 4K, so that's insane. But yeah, the level of competition here is great.
Yes, well, we did have a bit of a lap one incident, well back in the field. I think starting in like 25th position back. But for the most part, though, everyone up front, though, very clean at the start. But the tires started going away. Now, I do have to ask this question: it's just faster to not take tires than it would be to strap some new slicks on those Renaults?
Yeah, I did a race run before the race, and it's I think taking tires takes about 3 seconds, and I think I even set my best lap and my second to last lap without any draft. So I think the tires are at around 91, 92% at the end of the race, so no need to take any tires.
Right, so we'll definitely keep an eye out for that, of course, as we ourselves. The one trick ponies in the commentary booth is certainly looking for as much info as we can here. We didn't take any tires in the Skip Barber car. No, we most certainly are going to be looking to make sure. I don't think anybody up in the front running took tires up here at Phillip Island. So, well, Arian, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or thank before we cut you loose?
Well, you guys and Phillip for organizing this awesome race. Also, a big shout out to my previous team. I left them, unfortunately. PSR. Still love you guys. So yeah, thanks to them.
Well, thanks indeed. And of course, we love having races with 47 open-wheel Formula cars on a tight Formula One track. It's a pleasure. But Jake, I think we're just going to kick it back here to you as we close up our Australian racing thing here.
Yes, we do. Shop will close for 2 weeks here for your Formula Renault 2K Cup. But do not fear, everything fun is going to be here. Of course, Monday nights, you will have Monday night skippies going on once again, and that will surely be something to watch. And of course, don't forget, Racebot Prime Time, pretty much every single night of the week. Of course, Wednesdays being Kias, Thursdays being your European MX-5s, and Fridays, of course, being the Formula Renaults in this fantastic split. And don't forget, next week, the Skip Barber 2K Cup kicks off again, round number 2 there for that. So, I've been Jake Sperry, I've been joined by Cam Walsh. This has been the Formula Renault 2.0 and 2K World Cup. This has been a fantastic broadcast here on iRacing Live by Racebot TV. We will see you next time. Good night.